Weaponizing trust.
So
Are you good?
Yeah, I'm good. To be honest, I'm actually good. I told them the same thing I told you.
I know, bro, but I'm just, yeah.
I know. I appreciate you. A couple of boys hit me up. I said, listen, you guys. Wait,
I didn't hit you. Yeah, no, it's just speak your shit.
Someone said, oh, Abba, you're sweating right now. To be honest with you, I really don't. I don't live my private life in a way that I would be afraid if it came to light. I know someone might think that, but I'm not looking back on all my decisions in this dynamic and going, oh my God, if someone, I don't give a fuck.
Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and share the video. You can support uncensored conversations via Cashapp or buying your girl a coffee. Hey y'all, I just want to pop in here and have a brief conversation about this whole ABBA situation. I've been investigating, y'all already know, magnifying glass and all. There were 4 different lies and half-truths that I really wanted to cover here, specifically about the whole Montreal fight between Libby and ABBA. ABBA has built up a reputation on his channel for being honest, for being trustworthy, for doing the research and providing receipts. However, he's been caught in so many lies and half-truths in this situation alone. And we're gonna go through 4 of them, starting with number 1.
She had sent me a recording that she had done of her call. I didn't know she was recording. So you guys, I need you, maybe it's normal online is not normal to me. I've never had someone record a call with me. I'm gonna play a recording for you guys later. So you have his word, you have my word, and also nigga, I don't play no games, so I got a recording. Let's go. And then she had uploaded it to YouTube in a private account, and she sent me the fact that she recorded her final call. The one where I was really upset about how things unfolded and how I was really done with her and I felt betrayed. I was upset, I was wilded, okay? You can say whatever you want about that call, she can play it. I don't feel bad at all. The betrayal I felt at that time and how she could do that to me after everything I tried, I was like, yo, fuck you. She recorded it, I was blown away. That's why I have the recordings I have now. Because when I realized she was recording and she was trying to build some kind of case, I said, I'm gonna keep my recordings from the future going forward.
Now, I want you guys to pay attention to the dates here. Libby's phone call with ABBA happened on January 9th. This is when she recorded the phone call. This is when it was like, oh, I realized she was recording phone calls. She was recording phone calls. However, the first person to record was actually ABBA. ABBA was the one to record first because he admits that he recorded this conversation on January 2nd.
She references an incident that happened January 2nd.
So why is he making it seem like he only started recording because she recorded that phone call? Dude, you recorded her well before she ever recorded you. And not only that, you have a long history of recording other people. So I don't know why you're acting so shocked that someone will record you because you actively record other people. And his audience, they don't double check anything this ninja says. He says one thing, the evidence shows something completely different, and they ignore the evidence, they ignore any facts, they ignore any criticism. And I wonder why. ABBA knows that his audience isn't going to go back, or at least most of his audience isn't going to go back and watch any of the receipts he brings. They're not going to watch it in their full context. In fact, he's shamed. He's shamed the idea of asking for context through the fight with Stevie. During his second live, he goes on this whole rampage about how Libby was mad over a conversation. She was just mad because I said that people in Spain are hot, and then she stormed out and left. And he shows part of the interview that Libby had with Stevie Knight where she does mention that conversation. But let's see what he completely clipped out of that conversation.
But then she told a story I remember, and I knew it didn't go the way she said, but let's listen to her tell the story. And I want you guys to listen to this in its entirety. And
another comment about like girls being hot in Spain and just something like that. And
backdrop, she's at my place. This is the final time we see each other around New Year's, okay? We're sitting around having breakfast, and this is what she's referencing. I'm gonna let her tell the story, and then I'll add in the blanks.
And you were talking about how attractive other girls were in front of you?
Yeah, he was like, I went to Spain, and like Spain has the hottest people. And he was like, the women in Spain are like really hot. And we had talked about this before, and he says stuff like this. And then I get upset, and then I leave the house, and then I come back.
Look at how satisfied he is with that edit. You see the satisfaction on his face? He did that so smooth where if you were just listening to it, it sounded like it was one complete thought. However, if you look very closely, it's clearly a jump cut. But look at his face as that jump cut happens. He's so satisfied and he looks at Preach. And I don't think Preach is aware, right? I don't think Preach is aware of all of this. I think he's being fooled by Abba just the same. But this man literally cuts right where she said, and on top of playing all the video games, he cut that out very specifically. And he cut that out in such a way to make it seem as though it's one complete thought, when it really isn't. But if you look very closely, you can see the jump cut. And you can also see how satisfied he is with that jump cut. But let's look at what the actual footage says.
In its entirety.
During that visit, Abba was playing video games for 3 days. And I don't see him very much. And
You said he played video games for 3 days?
for 3 days, he was on his computer for 3 days. And
What is
he
that? What do
wouldn't
you
even
mean?
go.
What do you mean 3 days? Like he's on
He's on
front
the
of the computer for
Yeah.
12 hours at a time?
He would play video games and then he would work a little bit and then he would play more video games and then we would get something to eat and then he would play more video games and then I'm there on my phone and I'm trying to be like a good girlfriend and kind of like letting him do his thing. But after 3 days, I'm going to be like, hey, your
So you
girlfriend's
should have
over
said that
here.
shit before. You should have said that shit before. Like that makes more sense, at least to me, for incompatibility. Like bro playing video games is entirely different for a motherfucker playing video games for 3 days straight. Like that makes sense.
Yeah, that was one of the things. And he also makes comment about like other girls a lot, which we talked about like boundaries and everything like that. And then he made another comment about like girls being hot in Spain and just something like that. And
You
I
were
was
talking
like,
about how attractive other girls were in front of you.
yeah, he was like, I went to Spain and like Spain has the hottest people. And he was like, the women in Spain are like really hot. And we had talked about this before. And it was just like on top of the video games, on top of like me trying to just work with him and like be a good girlfriend and just hang out outside of the room so he can play his games. And then he says stuff like this. And then I get upset and then I leave the house and then I come back.
Over a minor argument on the final day that we were spending times after she's just traveled a good 9 hours to be here. Over a minor argument, she packed her bags and she left.
If you tell me that a broad storms out in the middle of the Montreal cold because you guys had a simple conversation, then yeah, of course she's gonna look crazy. But if you then tell me that you paid her dust for 2.5 days, playing video games in a separate room while she's sitting on your couch staring at her phone, while she's pregnant with your child, and not only that, she flew all the way to see you, to spend time with you, and you're paying her dust to play video games? Oh yeah, I understand why she stormed out. And I also understand why he clipped that out of his live stream. He wanted her to look crazy. He wanted to remove any of her humanity because anyone looking at that situation objectively would understand why she would be upset. Because it's not just about that conversation, it's also about you neglecting her after she flew out there to be with you and she's pregnant with your child. But he left that out. He completely clipped that out. He made sure he did a jump cut and everything. I wonder why. Actually, I don't. He knows what he's doing. He knows how to paint a narrative. He knows how to make someone look a certain way by clipping things together and removing the context. And he knows his audience will not fact check him because they see him as honorable. They see him as trustworthy. This goes back to what I said about weaponizing trust. Oh, let me show you this in its entirety, and then proceeds to not show it in its entirety. A flat out lie to his audience. He knows that they trust him, so they won't go back and fact check. Oh my goodness. Now this one in particular really does irritate me because he tried to play on the noble cause of not wanting men, specifically black men, to be lied on in situations where there is a woman involved. So he tells his audience when a woman says that she feels unsafe, then she gotta go. I'm a black man. She's a tiny Asian woman. Duh, 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 duh.
So not only did she just disappear like this, when she came back, she's kept acting weird. And at this point, she starts talking about it doesn't feel safe. So me, a woman says anything like that, that's a wrap. You don't feel safe in my home? I'm not gonna keep you here. Especially you, a tiny woman, I'm a black dude, I ain't playing that shit.
That is something that would be a cause for concern. I have a son. The idea of a broad lying on my son in order to get him locked up, in order to ruin his reputation, in order to do all these things, it definitely does terrify me. And I know about those cases where men get lied on, and it's so unfair. You have men that have spent time in prison, lost years of their lives because a broad wanted to lie on them. So I understand that emotional trigger because I also carry that with me because I hate that. I would never want that to happen to anyone. And I honestly think that if you accuse somebody of rape, beating you or something like that, and that did not happen, you should get the exact sentence that they would have gotten if they were found guilty. Abba knows that this is a soft spot for a lot of people, and specifically his audience, because they've had these type of conversations before on his channel. So he prefaces this whole conversation by saying, well, she said she felt unsafe. Well, my guy, if you were recording, then I'm sure that prior to you telling her to get out, she said she felt unsafe. I'm sure you got that on recording. You the king of receipts, right? You recorded this fight, right? Let's go ahead and take a listen to see if she says she feels unsafe before he tells her to get out.
You tried to book a hotel and it didn't work? Well, you clearly didn't just go to get coffee. So what happened? You booked a hotel and your phone didn't work, so that's why you came back?
It couldn't even work down there.
Right.
So she came back and she said, I'm like, where were you? And she's like, I only came back because I didn't have any cell service, but I wanted to book my own place. So not only did she just disappear like this, when she came back, she kept acting weird. And at this point, she starts talking about it doesn't feel safe. So me, a woman says anything like that, that's a wrap.
So he tells you she said she didn't feel safe, but I didn't hear her say that in a recording that you have, your receipts. So where in your receipts does she say she feels unsafe? Or are you just telling your audience that that's what she said? My guy, you're gonna have to prove it.
You don't feel safe in my home? I'm not gonna keep you here. Especially you, a tiny woman, I'm a black dude, I ain't playing that shit. So I said, cool.
So because you couldn't book a hotel with your phone, now you want to stay here?
Okay, you want me to go?
I do want you to go. Yeah, you quit. Yeah, you were trying to book a hotel, now you coming back pretending like you didn't want to go. So I don't need that shit. Leave. If you want to leave, leave. Absolutely, actually. Let me book it for you. You tripping. Shit, you staying here just because...
This is me yelling. Keep in mind, I'm close to the mic and I had to boost the audio because her voice is so low. So you think this sounds loud? It's because I boosted it as much as I could so y'all could hear her.
You couldn't get cell service? Oh, hell no. So I'm gonna book it for you. Book a hotel with your phone, now you want to stay here.
Okay, you want me to go?
I do want you to go. Yeah, you quit. Yeah, you were trying to book a hotel, now you coming back pretending like you didn't want to go. So I don't need that shit. Leave. If you want to leave, leave. Absolutely, actually. Let me book it for you. You tripping. Shit, you staying here just because you couldn't get cell service? Oh, hell no. So I'm gonna book it for you. I'll pay for the Uber and everything. I'll make it super easy.
Oh, okay. I didn't quite hear her say, I feel unsafe. But rather, he just told his audience that that's what she said, and they took it as face value. They took that as face value. She said she feels unsafe, but the receipts don't show that. If I were in that situation and I was kicking someone out of my place because they said they feel unsafe and I want them to get as far away from me so that they can feel safe again, that would be something that I would repeat to them over and over again, especially if I know I'm recording. Oh, well, you said you feel unsafe. I want to make sure you are safe. Let's get you somewhere away from me where you can feel safe. I would say that. That would be something I would say, and I would say it repeatedly. But what is he actually saying? What is he repeating in this conversation?
You quit. I told you quit on me again. You wanted to quit?
You quit. You quit. Moments before this nigga said this.
When she gets upset, I just give her space. So that's what she needs. So that's how we settle things up. I respect it.
You quit. I told you quit on me again. You wanted to quit?
I want to work through problems, want to work through issues, fights, everything. And, I value that in a partner.
Leave. You need to go. Get up out of here. I just want you gone. I don't want you in my house no more. You need to go. You're leaving. Definitely not staying in my house tonight. You're leaving, 100%. Don't make me call the cops.
I did my own research on what hormones and pregnancies do to a woman, and, your boy learned some things. She's carrying my kid. If I stress her out, it may result in a miscarriage. If I make her feel alienated, it might push her to her abortion. All I can do right now for the health of the child and for her health as well is to be supportive. That's all I can really do.
Leave. You need to go. Get up out of here. I just want you gone. I don't want you in my house no more. You need to go. You're leaving. Definitely not staying in my house tonight. You're leaving, 100%. Don't make me call the cops.
When she gets upset, I just give her space. So that's what she needs. So that's how we settle things up. I respect it.
So you understand that if someone needs space to calm down and get their thoughts together, that you should give them that space. But when Libby exercises that very same thing and she comes back with a clear head, ready to talk, ready to explain why she was upset, you tell her, get out, you quit, leave. Does that sound like somebody giving somebody else space to calm down, space to think, space to collect themselves? No. It seems like you were just upset that she left, even though you gave her every reason to, ignoring her after flying all the way out there to see you, and then sparking a conversation that you already know is triggering, because apparently they already had conversations like this. And according to Libby, she's already expressed how she does not feel comfortable with that.
I just checked right now, and I was 8.5 weeks pregnant. I was there for a 4-day trip in Montreal. And the reason why we fought was because Abba, the first 3 days, he was just playing video games. And I was either just like watching him play, or I was like hanging out in the living room by myself. On top of that, Abba doesn't go to bed until 5 or 6 in the morning. And so I wasn't able to hang out with him during the day because of video games. And then I wasn't even able to like go to bed with him or hang out with him in the evening because of video games. On top of that, Abba also doesn't really like going out. So when it came time for us to eat, he would just order food. And so for the first 3 days, I kind of felt a little neglected and just like, I didn't feel like a priority those 3 days. And we were just kind of like hubbed in the condo for 3 days. And the next day, my last day, we actually go to breakfast. We come back and we're just chatting. And then Abba talks about traveling, and then he goes into how much he thinks women in Spain are hot. And I had talked about my boundaries with like him talking about girls, because he's really free about when he talks about girls and like how attractive they are. For example, one of the things that like really stick in my head is like we were watching a Craig David video, and he was like, oh, you see this girl right here? I used to jack off to this girl right here. And I think I have a screenshot of me complaining to my cousin that he said that. I'll try to find that. But those are kind of like the things he said. So on top of that buildup of feeling neglected, that for the first 3 days, he then talks about women again, and that kind of like triggers me into like shutting down and getting upset. So I get upset because it was something we talked about multiple times. He sees that I'm upset, but I don't really want to talk about it. He goes in his room and plays video games.
I'm listening to this audio, and at no point in time I'm hearing, I feel unsafe. Now, I will say this. If after he's been telling her, you need to get out, get out, get out, get out, that she then says, yeah, I felt unsafe in that moment, guess what? I understand why. It's not just out of nowhere. If you are a pregnant woman in a country where you do not live, and you have flown out there to be with a man and trust him with your safety, and he's telling you, get out, yeah, I would feel unsafe too. You're trying to explain to him why you left. You're trying to explain to him what the problem was, and he doesn't want to hear it. He just shut down communication altogether. Yeah, I would feel unsafe too. And I want you guys to understand how he built this narrative for his audience. So he clips her reflecting on that fight in Montreal where she says she feels unsafe. And then he tells you that she said that during the fight. However, the evidence that he presents doesn't actually show her saying that. So he's using you hearing her say that after the fact, him saying it happened during the fight, and then the audio, which doesn't show her saying she felt unsafe at any point, at least with the audio he's presented as his evidence, then he has now built that narrative in your mind that she said she felt unsafe in those audio clips, even though in those audio clips, she didn't actually say that. She said it as a reflection on that incident. This is what a media literate person is able to do when they have all these different clips and then they put it together and they create that narrative for the audience. Abba, he understands how to control the narrative for his audience. And you guys got played. You yell at this woman to get out and leave. And when she gets out and leaves, then you want to say, come back. I'm trying to make sure you get there safe. If he truly cared about her safety, if he truly cared about all of that, then he would have at least been receptive to having a conversation as to why she left. He would have wanted to know, why did you leave? What happened? Because that would be a moment for self-reflection. That would be a moment to open the door for accountability. If someone leaves in frustration and you don't even give them the opportunity to talk it out with you because they quit, because they left to go calm down and gather their thoughts, all that tells me is that you don't really believe in accountability or self-reflection the way you say you do. You don't believe in communication because the moment she wanted to communicate after she had calmed down, you shut off communication. I'm trying to explain. You left. Get out. Can I at least? No, get out.
She's carrying my kid. If I stress her out, it may result in a miscarriage. If I make her feel alienated, it might push her toward abortion. All I can do right now for the health of the child and for her health as well is to be supportive.
Leave. You need to go. Get up out of here. I just want you gone. I don't want you in my house no more. You need to go. You're leaving. Definitely not staying in my house tonight. You're leaving, 100%. Don't make me call the cops.
Him harping on, hey, I booked you a hotel. I'm going to get you an Uber. It's not really that he wants to make sure she gets somewhere safe. It's about controlling the situation. That's why he got so upset that she packed her bags and left with her bags, because it's about control. Listen to what he says here.
She claims that when she came back, I was upset because she left. I don't care you left. I think it's normal in an argument. If you want to take a walk, take some space. Packing the bags to me, especially knowing how I like to set up things where like, we can always figure this out. Just don't walk out on me. Don't quit.
If it were truly about making sure that she was safe, then when she came back, you would have a conversation with her to understand where she's coming from. And then from there, devise a plan for the rest of her stay. But no, it's you quit, get out. I'm going to get you to Uber. I'm going to get you to the hotel. You're going to do what I want you to do. This is what I'm telling you to do. You need to do what I want you to do. You're getting the hotel I want you to have. You're getting in the Uber I want you to be in. It's all about control. This dude right here is a control freak. As much as you like to hold everybody else accountable, as much as you want people to listen to you while you wag the finger at everybody else, you seem very unwilling to hear real criticism. And I'm not talking about that softball bullshit where people say the obvious and they're like, yeah, he should have worn a condom. Yeah, he shouldn't just be flying women out. Yeah, that obvious criticism. See, you got to understand, people like Abba, they like to give the illusion of accountability. So they'll own up to small things. These are called concessions. And this is a debate tactic. This is not something new. Whenever you're in a debate or an argument, if you want to catch the person off guard, give a concession. Something small that doesn't really hurt your argument or hurt your credibility. Admit to something small and obvious. That way the other person is like, okay, you're at least listening. Okay, you're at least being accountable for your side. It's a manipulation tactic.
Now, some of you might say, well, probably shouldn't fuck her raw. I'm gonna hold the L. Like I said, Doc told me everything's cool, but it's still my fault. So Abba can hold some L's. You know what? Let me go through all the L's that I wrote down, because I did write these down before I even knew any of this happened, okay? I wrote a bunch of down, because I take some L's, and you know what I mean? Your boy's not against admitting to his faults. Abba chose her. That's a big time L, all right? That's on me. Whatever she's doing right now, at the end of the day, I chose her, so that's on me. Abba ignored some red flags. That's a big time L, okay? Abba didn't leave when he felt it was time. That's another L. 3 times total, okay? Another L. Abba got her pregnant. I'm also messaged that one to my doc. My doc lied to me, okay? The 6th one, and this is the one that I think I'm probably most accountable for. Abba engaged in fights that she started when he should have walked away. I'm not sitting here showing you guys like, oh, Abba's such a great person, whatever. No, like during our arguments, I would say things I wasn't the most proud of, and I'll own the fact that I was a big piece of shit during those times, okay? But those were also arguments I never initiated, never really feel like I was deserving, and that she would push. So it's just like, When you're fucking held to the end of a gun and someone pushes you, you gonna say some shit.
You see how all of his L's put him in the state of victimhood? Like even the one L where he should just hold it with both hands, he blames the doctor. You guys, this is pure giving concessions. You're gonna admit to obvious things. You're going to admit to things that put you in the position of a victim. You're not going to admit to things that show you as the villain. You're not going to admit to things that show you as an aggressor. You're only gonna admit to things that make the other person look bad while also giving the illusion that you're taking accountability for your choices. Be careful when you are listening to folks and they are giving you the illusion of accountability, because this is what it sounds like. Let me admit to a bunch of obvious things, and then even with the obvious things, I'm gonna pass the buck on to somebody else under my breath. Yeah, well, the doctor. My guy, if he told you low sperm count, that does not mean no sperm count. The accountability is on you. Whether or not the doctor said that, you should have still been wrapping up that willy, even if just to protect yourself from STDs. That's neither here nor there. This is a classic case of the illusion of accountability. So he'll give the small concession of, yeah, I should have wore a condom. Well, no shit, Sherlock. Duh. But he won't admit to clipping this out of context. He won't admit to lying about Libby being the one to record first. And he certainly won't admit to, well, I told her to leave because she said she felt unsafe, rather than I told her to leave because she quit, even though that's what the receipt shows. Again, this is how he weaponizes the trust his audience has with him. And this is the last lie that I really want to call out here. And I want to make sure I make this timeline very clear for you guys. This fight in Montreal is more than a week before the whole thing with Myron. It's before that conversation that Libby recorded where he was wilding out on the phone. Abba got on his high horse and he did this whole spiel about how when a woman is pregnant with your child, her stress can do this. You know, you don't want to stress her out because her hormones, and that could hurt the baby. Listen to this phone call. Listen to this recording that he took January 2nd and tell me, does this sound like a man trying to make sure he doesn't stress his pregnant girlfriend out?
Why are you staying? You're wasting my time. I don't want you in my house no more. You wanted to quit? That's it. That's a wrap between us.
So I can be mistreated and then me leaving.
You can say you were mistreated. That's your version. Your version is always you're the victim. I don't really care. I already booked your hotel. You need to go. I never thought I'd kick you out of my house, but this happened. You're leaving 100%. You're definitely not staying in my house tonight.
Are you guys terrified yet?
We're not doing this back and forth on and off bullshit. I ain't doing that. Let's go.
I didn't.
I booked a hotel. You're leaving 100%. Okay, well, listen, don't make me call the cops.
I just want to get rid of you. How do I get rid of you? I don't want to hear your explanation. I don't want to hear your theory about how we can co-parent. We will never co-parent. I want you gone. How do I do that?
You didn't even hear what I had to say about the stuff in the beginning of,
I don't want to hear about your co-parenting or how you want to do it or how you want to move close. I will never look at that child.
No, it sounds like you very much so are trying to stress her the fuck out. Are you telling me that you understand what stress can do to a pregnant woman and you're choosing to do it anyways? Were you trying to get her to miscarry? I'm speculating here, because if I look at this, if I take a step back and look at the whole thing, you invite her out to Montreal, you pay her dust for 2.5 days, you start a conversation that you know triggers her, and then when she has a human response, you say, get out, you quit, get out, you quit. You're cold, unreceptive to anything she has to say, but you know that stressing a pregnant woman out could cause a miscarriage. Were you trying to get her to miscarry? Is that what or did you pull this whole spiel about understanding pregnant women to make it seem as though you are more empathetic than you actually are? And I also want to point out that if you listen to the phone call that Libby recorded, and then you listen to the interaction that Abba recorded at his condo, they sound eerily similar. The moment Libby wants to say something, he cuts it off, interrupts, doesn't want to hear anything she has to say. Now, obviously, the January 9th conversation is turned up a notch, but that same pattern of lack of communication is already there. Interrupting her when she's trying to explain herself, talking over her, acting like you don't want to hear anything she has to say. So you mean to tell me you weren't talking to her like this the entire relationship whenever an argument would arise? Are you trying to tell me that this isn't a pattern of behavior when it comes to talking to women? Or at least Libby. Abba is a fraud. He likes to get out here, wag the the finger at other people. He likes to clock everyone's tea, point out when they're lying, point out where they're misleading, but then he will willfully mislead his audience. Clipping conversations out of context, lying to you about why people say the things that they say and then not show any receipts of it, tell you things that he knows and feels and then later on contradict it with his actions. ABBA listeners, I want you guys to understand he thinks you're stupid. Actually, let me scratch that. He knows you're stupid because you'll see how he's edited the footage. You'll see how he's lied about context. You'll see all of these things and you'll still find a way to dismiss it, deflect from it, or just throw on the cape for it altogether. Weaponizing trust. But y'all, I am curious to hear you guys' thoughts down below. How do you feel about this video? Do you agree with me where it's like, yeah, the math ain't mathing on a lot of this, ABBA? You got some splaining to do because you tend to double down on things, right? He had an opportunity to clear up the whole thing about clipping her out of context and then he doubled down in his latest cope video.
She references an incident that happened January 2nd. She tells a story.
Personally, I think the only reason that she told this story so confidently is because she was not aware that I had recorded this incident.
And then another comment about like girls being hot in Spain and just something like that. And
he would talk about how attractive other girls were in front of you.
Yeah, he was like, I went to Spain and like Spain has the hottest people. And he was like, the women in Spain are like really hot. And we had talked about this before, and he says stuff like this, and then I get upset, and then I leave the house.
Oh, okay. So you're just holding real tight onto that lie. Or do you disagree with me where it's like, where can I find some knee pads in bulk, as well as some tissues? I might need to go to Costco, Sam's. They might have some knee pads and some tissues on sale. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go get some knee pads, some tissues, and I'm gonna sit down and watch the next ABBA and Preach upload. I am curious to hear you guys' thoughts down below. If you like the video, The more you interact with it, the more it gets pushed out into the algorithm. Also, hype the video if that's for you. Okay, if it's for you, it's for you. If it's not, it's not. If you're feeling a little extra generous, the link is in the description to buy your girl a coffee. Thank you guys so much, and I will see y'all with the next one. Deuces. I just want to give a quick shout out to my first Faye ambassador. Shout out to Nefertiti. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. If you guys want to sign up for memberships or sign up to be an ambassador as well to receive a shout out, the link will be in the description down below.